Good evening, everybody. It's a windy evening here in Badlands National Park. Yeah, I'm back. This is kind of my jam, so I apologize for getting sick of it, but I never get sick of the Badlands. Welcome to Backpacking with Buckley. I'm on a 2-day solo trip, 2-night, 3-day solo trip. I just arrived at the trailhead. It's December 1st, and guess what time it is? It's 4:15 p.m. This video is going to be a little combination of an adventure vid and a Q&A session. I'm not afraid of the dark. Not me. Totally cool with the dark.
From the walls of Tokyo, with a London town to go. With the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'll be dancing with my style. When there's no one else in Soho.
Speaking of scared of the dark, as I was setting up the tent, I looked over at you with my spotlight on, and it scared the living shit out of me. Forgot it was on, and I thought it was a headlamp with some stranger standing next to me, because I'll talk about my fears later, but one of them is weird humans. Grateful Trekker, Carlson Adventures, and Wyatt Lawrence all wanted to know why I was wearing one glove in a particular photo I put on my community tab. That answer is simple. I think I just took my glove off because they're those supposed electronic gloves that you can use your phone with, and they drive me crazy. So I constantly take off one glove so that I can use my camera. So it's not complicated. It's no Michael Jackson reference. As a matter of fact, the pose there, I'm just going to spoil it. That's a play on Burt Reynolds in Playgirl, except for I had a lot more clothing on. So it's 5:30 p.m., which is a good time to answer the perfect question for this time of night, which is from Loafer X. He asked, what do you do when it gets dark so early? And I guess the best way I can sum it up, I'm a big fire guy, and I'm in a horrible park to provide that for an example, because I can't have a campfire out here. I did bring a little twig stove to make some hot chocolate with in lieu of my canister stove, just for some ambiance. But there's a weird thing about winter camping for me, and maybe other people share the same views as I do, but there's just a weird, I guess, type 2 personality thing where I really like to just stay warm. So I sit by the fire and just enjoy being by, like the crackle of the fire, sound of coyotes and things like that, silence. So that's really what I do. Other than that, I really edit video. Once in a great while, I'll watch a little bit of a movie. But for the most part, I'm just kind of staring into space. All right, I got a lot of questions. I don't know if I'll get through them all or they'll all make the video, just because nobody wants to watch me answer questions for an hour. But anyway, quickly, I got my polar jammer in the mail from Jeremy at All Things Outdoors. He makes these on Etsy. I got a little hand warmer in here, and this will serve so many purposes. I'm going to try it out with my Nalgene bottle or water bottle to keep it from freezing. Obviously, it works well for your hands. I can use it for a pillow. I can stuff it a little thicker with things and make a nice pillow out of it. Something to sit on. You can use it for a sit pad. Really multi-functional piece of gear. Check it out on Etsy. Answer another question. Let's go with Rob Pelton, shall we? And his question is, before I ascended into YouTube fame, I'm paraphrasing, but he did use YouTube fame, what did I do with my free time? Well, before backpacking, in high school, I was kind of a sports kid. I did a lot of hockey and football. I hunted with my dad a heck of a lot in high school, and then somehow during college, when I moved to South Dakota, I quit hunting. Mostly because I'm just kind of a softie for animals, but I love hunters, and I think it's an ethical way to eat meat. At any rate, I digress. Back to Rob's question. So that's kind of what I did in high school, and then the probably more interesting question is in my 20s, I bartended a lot before I got into social work, and I spent a lot of that time drinking. Not saying that to seek pity. I'm saying that just to tell you that I wasted a heck of a lot of time. So all you young folks out there, you're going to miss out if you party through your 20s and 30s. I sure wish I would have started backpacking back then. But yeah, so I've been back into nature. I've always been into nature, but I've reconnected in the last few years, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I answer a couple more questions later. One question before bed, one of my favorites from one of my favorite guys, As the Crow Flies Hiking. This is going to be a tough one for you, bud, but you asked what my favorite 80s band is, and I know what you want me to answer this question, and although I am a huge Van Halen fan, it's not my favorite. I believe in 1984 this band was formed, but they rose to fame in 1987 when their album Appetite for Destruction was released. You guessed it, folks. My favorite 80s band is probably Guns N' Roses. So, with that being said, don't you cry tonight, because I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Talk to me softly, there's something in your eyes. Don't hang your head.
That's what the Badlands is all about. Good morning. All right, Northeast Family Adventures wants to know what the most bromantic thing I've ever done is on trail, and there are too many to count, to be honest with you. Lots of walks on beaches, plenty of beautiful sunsets. As the Crow Flies hiking, and Andy from Metro on the Move, and Philip and I, right out here in the Badlands, had one of the most bromantic sunsets I've ever seen in my life. This is the face of success. I'm going to answer a couple more questions before I start packing up. And actually, PFAM5 and Mark and the kids at DMS Adventures kind of asked similar questions, basically asking what made me start a YouTube channel and what my favorite channels are, who my influences were. Very quickly, YouTube made me start a YouTube channel. And that's because I was inspired by my very first video that I'll never forget watching. My sister Molly sent it to me. Was Adventure Archives at Pictured Rocks. And that added Pictured Rocks to my bucket list and backpacking to my obsession list. But seriously, the spider web went so deep that I probably watched, and I'm not kidding, 75 to 100 different channels. Most of them I watch pretty religiously. So YouTube is what inspired me to YouTube. Thanks for the question. This is 90% of the reason I hammock. You know we don't actually have camera crews, right? Off we go. Castle Trail, Medicine Root Loop. Jeremy from All Things Outdoors and Chris from That Hiking Guy both asked questions about this scruffy old beard I got going on here. Respectively, one asked about what product I use and the other asked when I grew it. So I grew it when I was 9. But it didn't come in full till I was 11. And as far as what product I use, the answer is nothing. Miyagi, you asked what inseam I hike in. 9-inch with friends and underwear when I'm alone. All right, 2 more quick ones. Taylor from Southern Hikes, what's your favorite food? Well, that's goofy. If you're talking real food, burgers and burritos. If you're talking backpacking food, Peak Refuel. And then Blaine Paul Bunyan 25 asks, do you listen to music when you hike, and what are your jams? I actually don't listen to music when I hike. I'm not real pretentious about it. I don't care if people do. I love music. My jams these days are probably Greta Van Fleet and Rainbow Kitten Surprise, the Gen X bands of choice. But yeah, I don't listen to music on trail. I like to just enjoy the silence. But if somebody's hiking with me and they want to flip on some tunes, I likely will not say no. That's all for now.
We've been Mr. Brownstone. He's been knocking, he won't leave me alone. No, 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 he won't leave me alone. I used to do a little, but a little more loose, and a little got more and more. I just keep trying to get a little better than a little better than before. I used to do a little, but a little more loose, and a little got more and more.
But I found a great little place tucked out of the wind with exploring galore. I should see some wildlife tonight, and I can get up on these mesas over here and watch sunset. And over here is a canyon that I can explore. Daniel Contreras, I hope I said that right, Daniel. That's if I use a satellite communicator, and which one? The sad answer is I do not. I should, especially on solo trips, but I usually have a map downloaded offline for where I go, so I haven't seen a huge need for it yet. But if you really want to be safe, you need an SOS signal, which those provide. Senior hiker number 77, my favorite guy on earth. He's always looking out for me. He asks how my tobacco addiction is going. And the progress, not perfection, is my answer, Senior. So Trips from Miyagi and Trips on the Trail asked me if money was no object, where would I go and why? And honestly, I think my answer would be I would just live on trail. And I'd probably start with the CDT, honestly, just because I love the Rocky Mountains. But yeah, I'd probably try to be a triple crowner if my body would allow. So you gotta check this out. So Kevin, a typical hiker, wanted to know what I do when I'm alone on a solo, at night specifically. I kind of covered it. I like to sit around the fire. I do a lot of video editing and things when I'm alone, and I ponder. And I often, of course, think of my lovely wife, Whitney, at home, and the kids, of course. But yeah, I'm just perfectly content doing a lot of sitting.
Well, no matter. Well, no grids left anyway.
Next question came from RVA Hiker Girl, who asked what my scariest moment was. And I want to do it really fast. I was near Lake Superior, camping on a little lake by myself, and I heard a couple crashes in the woods. First of all, I thought it was deadfall, and then I realized very quickly as it came closer that it wasn't deadfall because it kept making noise. I blew my air horn. It was definitely louder than a deer. I've heard a lot of deer around camp. It was either a moose or a black bear, and it didn't make any exit noise, so I know it was an animal, and I was just freaked out because I didn't hear it leave. So it was kind of sustained fear, which is why it's my scariest moment on trail. Adventures with Beckett and Zena asked what inspired me to YouTube and how long have I? I don't know if he meant backpacking or YouTubing, but coincidentally they're the same. So oddly enough, I've only been backpacking for a little over 2 years, but I can say that I've spent probably conservatively 120 nights backpacking. So I've gained quite a bit of experience because I take every shot I can get to get outside and do it, even if it's just a quick overnighter. But anyway, what inspired me was simply YouTube videos. Like I said, Adventure Archives. You'll see that clip if you haven't already. Also, the Thermarest Polar Jammer combo for a pillow. Magnificent. I'm going to take a nap now. Dave Off Grid. Favorite spots in my home state to hike in the fall and winter? Well, I'm at one of them, the Badlands, which is a little tough without campfires, but it is cooler in the fall. And in the winter, it's just kind of a crazy adventure. I brought my Mr. Buddy heater out here before. And then the Black Hills, obviously, are always badass. So those are my favorite spots. So I'm gonna catch sunset hopefully, and then I'm going to cook myself some sweet pork and rice on the twig stove tonight. Hopefully I'll have enough battery to capture a few moments of that. And after that, it's probably Betty bye at about 7:30 or 8 o'clock again. Dam's lifestyle, wanting to know how I feel being a YouTuber and what are the challenges. Well, fortunately for me, being a YouTuber feels like being myself. It took a little while to get used to like talking on camera all the time, but pretty much what you see is what you get with me. That's probably why you get so many uhs and that kind of stuff. But that's me as a YouTuber. So the challenges I face really aren't much of anything. Sometimes a little bit of envy on editing, but other than that, I have found it to be nothing but splendid because I have low expectations.
From the walls of Tokyo, with the London town to go. With the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'll be dancing with myself. When there's no one else inside, I lead a crowded, lonely life. I waited so long for my love vibration, and I'm dancing with myself. I'm dancing with myself. I'm dancing with myself.
So this is Whitney and I's special place. But I also have memories here with Hoot and Andy from Metro and Crow and Philip, and memories obviously with me. Beautiful sunset here in the Badlands, and I am alone in the middle of nowhere. Good night, everybody. So good morning. It is chilly, and I enjoy the sunrise. All right, hiking out here. Devin from Salmon Outdoors. You inspired what is kind of a second edition of Tim's Deep Talks. You asked what advice would I give my 20-year-old self? What a great question. Well, we kind of already touched on it. I would tell myself to stay away from booze, first and foremost. And secondly, I would educate my 20-year-old self on the power of healing in nature. So, Deep Talk by Tim. The more I backpack, the less I want. I guess in a nutshell, I started to realize that stuff like this is more important than dying saying, oh, I had a great career. I've had a lot of different jobs. I'm kind of a soul-searching career addict and never really found what I like to do other than social work, and I've never found the perfect fit for that as well. So some would say I'm just kind of a lazy bum or unsatisfied, but really what satisfies me emotionally and mentally, I've come to find out, is nature. And I wish I would have figured that out, 25 years ago when I was 20. But better late than never. And I'm an optimist most of the time. Well, 35% of the time. So I'm glad to have discovered what nature can do for me now that I'm 45. $43.9 Outdoors asked me how would I suggest to get others to come on trips with them. I guess I'll answer that two ways because I'm not sure what you mean. Number one, I'll answer it if you mean like friends and family members that already exist. And that's just make it easy and as luxurious as possible. Make sure the temperatures are nice. Just give them a good experience. Don't pull them on a 15-mile hike and bring good food, etc., etc. Just take them slack packing for the first time and make sure that they see something that blows their mind. So take them to a place with a really great view. If you're talking about other YouTubers and hikers and things, I just talk to them a lot on social media. Try to organize things with people. Don't be afraid to maybe put your name in the hat if you see something being organized, and just kind of invite yourself. I find that most people are fine with that because everybody wants to meet new people. basically just be vulnerable and put yourself out there. There might be some jerks in the world, but I have really yet to find one, and I've met quite a few YouTubers. You know what my dream is for out here? Is to walk a trail I never walked and to come across 2 magical trees to hang a hammock in. Look guys, trees. There's some actual black dirt out here too. It wouldn't be ideal, but you could maybe make that work. Let's see what else there is out here. All right, I'll give you a 360-degree panorama that will basically capture the Medicine Route Loop Trail in Badlands National Park.
High as hell, feeling fine. Nothing bad, no, nothing kind. No, not a word from me. At least nothing you would mind. In my head, I get lonely sometimes.
It's purty.
Feeling fine, coming down. Never back, 'cause we're never out. You'll never call the cops again. I'll never come out. In my head, I get lonely sometimes. When you find an old picture.
All right, everyone. I can see my van and roads, which means back to reality time, which makes every trip more sweet, right? So I had another great solo trip, which is pretty intense mental health therapy for me, in a little different way than hanging out with friends, which is also extraordinarily therapeutic. But the most important thing is I answered a lot of your questions, and I am truly grateful for you guys participating in that. Not only that, but all the comments on all of my videos, that it makes me feel really great to receive all that support and kindness from so many people out there, and make a lot of great friends. So thank you to all of you for sharing this YouTube life with me. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Badlands National Park, Q&A special. We've conquered it. So let's do the typical. We'll catch you on the next adventure, everybody. Thanks for watching Backpacking with Buckley.